Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to do a relatively quick video about something. Um, let's see, make sure. Yo, yo, hold on 1 second. Yo, yo, let me fix that. Thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Turn it up a little bit, you know. It is what it is on these YouTube streets. I be moving too quick sometimes. Should have connected my mic, but we here now. Alright, got a thumbs up that you can hear me alright. Alright, thumbs up, you can hear me. That's cool. That's really all I wanted to know. Cause I ain't wanna just, be talking. Y'all can't hear me at all. So I came up with this term. I was doing some astrological searching for, not really searching for a concept, so to speak, but just like studying the chart. And I seen an interesting formation happening between Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus. And I know from my studies that these are slow moving planets. So I began to look at some other calculations to come to the conclusion that the energy that we're feeling on a spiritual level is going to be something that we'll be feeling for a very long time. So I didn't really do no intro on this video or anything like that. Just wanted to get straight into the information because hopefully, if my calculation serves me right, we can refer to this video 3, 4, 5 years down the line. And so, what are we talking about? We're talking about the Great Awakening. So, first things first, I put an article about it. I wrote a little something about it just to keep it on the level, right? Just to like not just be getting on here blabbering about different things. I'll be right back, chat. I'm gonna get me an adapter so I can at least hook up this light. Give me 1 second. We back. So, like I said, I was doing this article to give me like a little bit of understanding and overstanding, and then of course I wanted to do a video to kind of talk about it, so at least we could go on record saying we talked about this information. And what I'll show you is that we'll be referencing this astrological transit for the next 5 years. And more than I can tell you this, I'll show you this. But let me plug up my laptop charger and we'll get into this build. Give me one more second. All right. So what I've been doing with my Substack and what I'm going to continue to do, which is kind of like more tuned in and tapped into the energy, is that I'm going to have these particular worksheets popping off. I'm going to run these, all types of shit going on. Phone done died. So anyways, I'm going to have like, the reason why I'm going to have the worksheets is because like people always ask me for help, right? And I want to help them, right? But I can't help people who don't help themselves. And so what the worksheets are, you could download and print the worksheet off if you want, but you could just simply use them as journals, as guides to understand and understand spiritual concepts and relating it to your personal experience. The personal experience is by far the most important aspect to astrology, because if you do not have a personal understanding of the astrological understanding of the understanding rather, you're going to know all the buzzwords and know all the verbiage, but the transformation and the revelation and the awakening is not going to be for you. So one of the most important aspects of the chart, of this understanding in any astrological conversation, what house does it happen in your chart? I'm just making it clear. I'm talking about the most complicated aspects of it, so you will have a basis of figuring it out. So if you don't know how to do that, there's another thing. And this is so important, right? This is very, very, very important. You want to go to a sidereal transit chart or whatever transit chart. You want to put in your birthday. My birthday, August 23rd, 1984. And then we're going to be talking about the transit planets. The transit planets are going to be the planets on the outside ring. The planets that we're going to be talking about is Pluto, which will be located in my 4th house. I will write that down to journal it. Am I feeling any energy in reference to my home, my living situation, any transformations in this area? Fuck yeah. Okay? Neptune, my house of service. Neptune is in my 6th house, conjunct my Lilith. Am I feeling different about how I serve people, how I connect to people? Heck yeah. Uranus in my 8th house, my sexual house, my alchemy house, where I have Chiron in my North Node at. Do I feel energy in this energy in my life? Do I feel like I'm making transformations and strides to be the best version of myself? Heck yeah. Very important for me to figure out, okay, the houses that are represented in the energy for me are going to be the 8th house, the 6th house, and the 4th house. I'm going to journal that on the worksheet. Okay? Once I journal that, and you can download the worksheet, but I will hope that you read the article, listen to the video, understand what I'm about to say, figure out what houses so you can understand the spiritual transformation that's taking place. Okay? Now, the next one, journal how these 3 house keywords resonate in your personal life. I journaled for like 5 pages on how the home is resonating with me, how transformation is resonating with me. Okay? How service is resonating with me. Okay? And depending on your houses, figure out what your house is going to resonate deeply. It's going to be easier for you to start to journal, right? Do y'all understand and understand that? Right? Give me a 1 in the chat if what I'm saying is making sense. You can use Vedic or tropical on AstroSeek. Once I figure out the houses, then I go to what are the 3 main challenges? And this is where I had to really dig deep and get real with myself on my challenges. And the power part is, what is the hidden talent that will be activated if you face up to these challenges? It's easy to figure out your hidden talent when you are able to, because you can begin to identify your challenges and what it's going to take for you to overcome those challenges. Because you haven't actually acted in that energy yet, it's a hidden talent. And that's what this energy is going to bring out in each and every one of you. Something that is hidden. That is the nature of an awakening. Number 4, get into your vision board energy, your meditation energy. Are there any places you have always wanted to visit or relocate to? You need to start writing with this energy. Because if you ain't never been nowhere, if you ain't never traveled, if you ain't never been on no plane, or it's been a long time, or you ain't got the money, or you too busy, this is the time to start working with this spiritual energy, and I'll explain why. But once again, if you're not writing the places that you want to relocate, if you're not writing the places that you want to visit, don't expect it to magically appear. You got to start to work with this energy. You have to be intentional with this energy. Intentions with the combination of spiritual and psychedelic modalities lead to manifestation. I want y'all to actually be clear on this particular energy. Because if you are trying to make something happen, this is the time to make something happen. But you need to understand the difference between thinking, wishing, and hoping, and intention. When you set an intention and you take it through the portals of life, then that intention becomes a reality. But you got to be sure that you're willing to do the things that it takes to get the things that you truly want. And if you don't sit and journal what you truly want, you're going to be asking somebody for help. You're going to be depressed. You're going to be sad. You're going to be confused. And the reason why is because you have all of the power. When we talk about a spiritual awakening, one of the things that I'm most excited about, is that God is in each and every one of you. It doesn't matter if I pull a 2 of wands. It doesn't matter if Mercury is going retrograde. It doesn't matter if it's a quarter moon. It don't matter if you like eating groceries. It don't matter if you go both ways. God is in each and every one of us, and this is the time that we need to get back to. This is a spiritual awakening. Now, I asked a question in the poll. I didn't look at it, and I'm about to look at it now. Is the world becoming more or less spiritual? People are saying more. It's time. It's time for a spiritual awakening, and this is the astrological key to me, the key to open it. But the reality is, if we're not intentional, if we don't believe, if we don't have hope, if we don't have faith, if we don't have the energy, then it'll almost seem like the world is going against us. So write down 3 ways you will challenge yourself to get better in the next 5 years. The way that the world is set up, we live in check to check. day to day. But the way that the spirituality is set up, we need to start thinking about life in the next 5 years. Mainly, what country are you going to relocate to? This is the major deal. This is the major calling to get your shit together, because you got to figure out what country you're going to move to, what country you're going to migrate to. So this is the chart for today, right? And what you'll see is Neptune trining Uranus, or sextiling Uranus, which is then trining Pluto, is making this triangle. Now I want to show you something. This is 2025. I'm sorry, that's my transit chart. I'm capping now. That ain't it either. That ain't it either. All right. This is 2025. You'll see it again. Pluto, Neptune, Uranus in this triangle. This triangle is going to stay consistent. This is 2026. You're going to see this triangle again. Pluto. Nept is not going to move. I'm just showing you each year in a time lapse to let you know that this energy is going to be consistently consistent in reference to the understanding and overstanding of spiritual knowledge. And how seriously you take your spiritual life, you will be rewarded for that. If you don't get into anything spiritual and you're a materialist, good luck, have fun, enjoy yourself, right? But I'm not joining that party with you. I'm in a whole different understanding and overstanding of how this shit works. 2027. Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, minor, grand, trine. Okay? And I exit out of it, but I'll bring it back. I will bring it back. This is 2028. This is when Pluto gets conjunct with the North Node, right? Pluto will be eclipsed by the North Node. This is in 2028. We got to start thinking ahead, right? Actually developing the cachet and the spiritual strength to become who we truly are. We've been practicing and preparing, some of us. But as y'all can bear witness to, the world is becoming more spiritual, and now you get to see the astrological reason why. But I hope that you, at a personal level, begin to understand and overstand your power to set your intentions to create your reality. But Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, minor grand trine, only into 2029 do we see that Uranus moves further, because Uranus is the quickest out of these two planets. It moves out of aspect. So that line disappears between Uranus and Neptune. But at the same time, that is a good 5 years of major transpersonal states of consciousness. Like, this is a major breakthrough, or an availability and an opportunity for each and every person to tap into their higher self, to really get structurally, foundationally aware of their psychic gifts, right? White Rabbit. So visit hoodmystic.com. The link is in the description. Anything that you need from me, far as books, herbs, merch, psychedelics. The Substack link is on there. You can book a reading with me. Uh, Check out the other videos on my YouTube page. Just anything that you need to know about me, you can visit hoodmystic.com. Just wanted to let people know that, just in case you didn't know, right? So, what I want to talk about is, before we get into Taurus energy, I want to talk about what is a minor grand trine. A minor grand trine is when there are two sextiles in a trine. A trine in astrology is where you have talent, right? But the thing about talent is that if it's not supported, if it's not cultivated, if it's not nurtured, then it's just not, it just don't matter. Think of somebody like Frankie Lyman or somebody. Or it's probably a hood rapper in your neighborhood that's one of the best rappers ever, but he died too soon. So talent in this aspect, it doesn't really matter. Not in a evil, Dr. Evil kind of sense, but more in the, if you don't have a real catalyst to bring out that talent, then at that point, your talent is just not going to matter, right? So, thankfully enough, we have energy that is catalyzing a hidden talent, right? And so the way that you navigate this energy is not through, look how perfect my life is, look how many good decisions that I've made. No, the way you work with this energy is by recognizing the negative things that are taking place in your life. If you recognize the negative things that are taking place in your life, there goes your talent. There goes your psychic ability. The thing about a challenge does not mean that your world is over. It doesn't mean that God doesn't like you. It doesn't mean that you'll never be anything. What it actually means is that if you overcome this challenge, you will become stronger and you will achieve another level. And this is actually talent. Where we look at talent, at least when I was a child, I looked at talent as he's naturally gifted and I'll never be that good. As I got older, I realized that if you work towards something, you could become just as good or better than a person that is naturally talented. There are people in all types of industry, people who are naturally talented, and then people who just work hard as fuck. And the reality is, you'll never be able to differentiate between the two. So how do you then relate that to yourself? If you don't see it yet, you fall into the line of people who just have to work hard to cultivate and to nurture what it is that you are growing within yourself. So the negativity of a garden is planting the seed. Boy, oh boy, I want to eat kale. Boy, oh boy, I want to eat tomatoes. Boy, oh boy, I want to eat lettuce. But I can't because I just planted the seed. We're talking about Uranus and sidereal Taurus. Whatever you want to plant in your garden and relate it to the house that Uranus falls in Taurus in your sidereal chart, because that's the astrology that we're talking about. In Western astrology, I'm pretty sure it would be Aries. But what house is Uranus entering into your chart? And what are you planting the seeds to cultivate and bring about in the next 5 years? This could be, and when you think about a 5 year plan, you're a lot more open to choosing something that is more fantastic because you're giving yourself the time, the grace, the trial and error to really see what this garden is going to be if you decide to plant the seed. So when you look at the negativity in your life, it is not even negativity. It is opportunities to plant seeds. The normal human regular way to look at it is, oh, this negativity is happening. I guess something is wrong with me. God don't love me. What is wrong with me? I guess I got to go back to the drawing board. But it's not that. So, a minor grand trine depends on the planet's quality, right? So, when you're discussing a minor grand trine, so if this was a minor grand trine between, let's just say, the Sun, Jupiter, and Mars, might be a big deal, but not really a big deal because the quality of the planets, they're going to disintegrate. The Sun is moving in each sign every 30 days or so. Mars, every month and a half. So it might be intense energy for a month. It might be a portal open for a week. But the difference of the quality of planets of this minor grand trine is completely related to the fact that it is Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus. These are what are called the transpersonal planets. So when we have in a transpersonal conversation, and I say you are the goddess Oshun, you are the god Ogun, you have come here to do spiritual work, you have come here to fulfill a mission sent to you by God, and you just saying, well, I work at Walmart, none of this is making sense to me. That's the definition of transpersonal. I'm going to give you another example. If you have the psychic ability to heal with your hands, but you working at a factory, you might feel as though you don't have a psychic ability, therefore you don't even realize the talent. But you can bear witness to the life that you are living, and you it's hell. And if you live in a hellish life and having a hellish existence, it's because you were meant to do something on earth. You are not meant to fall in love with a loser, work at a dead-end job. You absolutely can trust in your spirit team. You absolutely can trust in your soul. You absolutely can have as much confidence in the spiritual life as you do in the material life if you just develop this muscle. This transit is allowing that muscle to grow. So we have, for the novice or the beginner, we have the personal planets, right? The planets more related to Earth, which would be the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And these are just planets that represent who you are, how you express yourself, how you feel, how you think, how you move, how you act, right? But it's always a person that just live, right? That just kind of go to work and come home. And then you like, well, this person just, you ever just be at an apartment complex and just look at the cars there and be like, man, what is all these people doing? Once in the chat, if you ever just sat at your apartment complex and just bear witness all of the NPCs rotating around you, in your sphere of existence. Like, man, these people ain't on shit. These people is just like existing to go to work and come home, and they could just be at home, just sitting in that couch, just watching that bitch until the morning, and just crack up in the morning and go to work, come straight home. Like, you could bear witness to that. I just always be wondering, like, what in the hell do these people be doing? Well, that is personal. Well, when you talk about social, Jupiter and Saturn, this is the understanding and understanding how to transcend that NPC life. It is the social planets. It's how you exist, how you expand, but it's also how you retreat, right? It's a way to live, right? It's a Denzel Washington for every Tupac, right? It's what I mean is it's a professional actor that does the job and come home, right? And it's actors like that you like, man, I love his movies. He's such a good actor. And then there's other actors that be like, the Hollywood is controlled by the CIA and MK Ultra. Yeah, man, he just overdosed, man. He don't even exist no more, man. The system is messed up. But you like, damn, the system is messed up. But I sure love Training Day. That was a good ass movie though, right? The social understanding and overstanding, the social intelligence will teach you how to be like what Jay-Z said, move in a room filled with vultures. When people, the 26 Club, or you can't make it in life, you can't be successful, a lot of times it's just your fault. You don't know how to, you ever heard the saying, you need to know how to read the room? That's Jupiter and Saturn. And this is a progressed energy. Most people, for the most part, can't really get with Jupiter and Saturn because it makes you become a different type of person. And you got to actually be strategic. You got to deal with risky type of situations, right? You put yourself in environments where you're not at home. You're not in a personal setting. So Jupiter and Saturn, not for the weak. But even deeper than that, this is why in Vedic and sidereal astrology, we keep it simple, man. We deal with the moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, right? Right? When you start talking about the transpersonal planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, well, then you're going to have to journal. You're going to have to journal to understand these aspects in your chart. I'll give you an example. I think I got my chart still pulled up. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Right there in my chart, Neptune, Jupiter in my third house. I started doing research on Neptune in the third house. Light bulb switched in my brain. It's like, you supposed to be a psychic. You supposed to be speaking spirituality. And mind you, I'm just a truck driver. But I seen that Neptune in third house. I was like, let's go. I start my YouTube channel. And the rest is history. I always wanted to do a YouTube channel. I always wanted to I remember being in grade school. People would be like, we'd have circle time and we'd talk. And the girls, they didn't like me because they'd be like, I don't know. Every time you talk, you expect people to just applaud when you get done talking. And I don't like that. And I was always trying to talk, have a deep conversation. I'd be there talking to my mom about the Bible. She'd be like, boy, I don't know. Just believe in God, trust God. It'll be okay. Like me, I wanted to use my voice. And I actually prayed for it. I prayed for a voice. I wanted a voice that, I just wasn't just going to be on YouTube talking to myself, right? I wanted some people to tap into my channel. I want my channel to have some type of motion. And yeah. But once I looked at my chart and seen Neptune and Jupiter in my third house, I just didn't give a fuck what nobody said. Not in a negative way. But you know how my family, Your family ain't gonna see Neptune and Jupiter in your third house, family. Your family ain't gonna see no Neptune aspect in your chart. If somebody is like close to you, like you got a soul sister or something, maybe. But more than likely, your Neptune aspects, your Uranus aspects, your Pluto aspects, and look at me, I'm like Usher in '96. I got it bad, y'all. I got Pluto in my first house, Uranus in my second house, and goddamn Neptune in my third house. Like, come on now. I'm sitting here trying to drive trucks. My spirit team, like, yo, if this nigga don't get it together, right? If this nigga do not get it together, right? But study your chart, journal on your chart, research your chart, know the difference between Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and then Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. But as we talking about that, it get me to and put me in my shameless plug energy. Remember I said I wrote books? I got another book that talks about this extensively, right? Astrology Explained. We get into that thing. You feel me? You can just go to hoodmystic.com right now for the Lowski 1111. Get you a little journal companion so you can start to understand and overstand these astrological concepts. And if you want to get super extra duper freaky, we got a spiritual being having a human experience where I get into more advanced astrological concepts such as sidereal astrology, such as chakra astrology, relating all of the planets to the chakras, things of that nature. If you want to get real nasty and sexual with this spiritual stuff, for the low SKU price of $15. Plus, we got a 20% off sale, no promo code needed. Shameless plug, you know, y'all spent $50 on a loud this weekend, so that $15 or $10 you're gonna spend on a book to help you journal is not gonna it's not gonna hurt you. Not at all. So with that being said, the interesting part that I want to get to, the transpersonal planets are Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So when we go back to understanding and overstanding a minor grand trine, why are we talking about a minor grand trine? Is because when we look at our chart, the sign, the shape that you see is a minor grand trine. So that train of thought that I just took y'all down, does that make sense? One's in the chat if that makes sense. I just finished Astrology Explained today, taking notes later tonight. Earthshaker Ninth Avatar, my guy. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, brother. So now we about to get into more of what a minor grand trine is. Because a minor grand trine could be very positive, but it depends on the planet's quality. Now, that like when you read this, I know like in the beginning of my astrology journey, I would read this and my brain would be spinning, my ears would be spinning, everything would be spinning, and I would just tap out. But I can kind of walk y'all through this because I've been here before, and I can kind of help you understand and overstand what's being stated on these website pages. So the planet's quality would then be related to Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, which are transpersonal planets. And I was just thinking how I came a long way for sure because I used to be saying Uranus. Niggas was for sure saying Uranus on this bitch, not even knowing the difference. So it's good that I progressed into saying Uranus because no way am I going to be saying Uranus all through this goddamn live stream. You feel me? Anyways, it depends on the planet's qualities whether it could be implemented or remains unused due to idleness, complacency, or indifference. See, if you had like a minor grand trine, Sun, Moon, and Mars, it may or may not be indifferent depending on the sign and the houses. However, when you have a minor grand trine by Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto for 5 years, well, that's a whole different ball game, right? And if a triangle stands on its own with no red aspects, it is passive and must be activated by the environment from the outside. But talent triangles make the individual blue aspects more versatile and animated than their lethargic nature would indicate, especially when the motivation is love. They react to understanding and kindness. And the reason why they say the motivation is love, because when there is sextiles are ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet of love. A minor grand trine is essentially two sextiles. So when you think about what you want to happen out of life, you got to learn to love. And in this world, I feel that people are not even taught love for real from an energetic space. I know that at a general sense, maybe not in the crowd that I attract. I know in the general sense, people are very, very conditional and people are very, very judgmental. And I personally feel sorry for people like that because they don't understand how life works. Life works from the inside out. That's why June 16th, you'd be crazy to think that Disney don't study astrology. They're putting out the show or movie rather, Inside Out 2. Now, Inside Out 1 was a groundbreaking movie that awakened people to their inner world. This movie is going to take it deeper and further, but I think they're going to put a lot of different agendas because one of the main ad people for this movie is Dwayne Wade. And we all know how Dwayne Wade gets down. If you know, you know. I'm not going to say nothing in reference to that. A minor grand trine is also called a small talent triangle. It's formed of a trine aspect. So the trine aspect in this minor grand trine is going to be in reference to Uranus and Pluto. Uranus is awakener, Pluto is transformation energy. A trine is what is talent. Talent is something that if you Mariah Carey and you can sing, congratulations. But if you Shaniqua that can sing real good but never hired a manager, you just going to be another worker at Staples and you could have sung just as good as Mariah Carey, but you never had the attention to sing at open mics, to start a YouTube channel where you doing covers. You just sung in the bathroom when you was taking a shower. And that's just never going to cut it when it comes to talent. You got to put yourself out there. So depending on the house, but irregardless of the house, you can deal with the element. Uranus is going to be in Taurus and Pluto is going to be in Capricorn. So when you talk about Taurus, you're dealing with the throat. When you talk about Capricorn, you're dealing with the knees. So this will bring me into the energy of Migos featuring Drake. And I know y'all probably like, what are you talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is they have one of the hit singles on Culture 2, one of their last hurrahs, one would say. They came out with a smash club banger called Walk It Like I Talk It. So you have to be so intentional, so matter of fact with the energy, regardless of what's happening on TikTok, Instagram, your mama, your daddy. And I'm gonna tell you, people not gonna want to live the same life that you gonna want to live. But you have to walk it like you talk it, and that's what it gotta be. If you feel like you're gonna be a millionaire in the next 5 years, guess what? You gotta walk it like you talk it. If you say you're gonna get married in the next 5 years, guess what? You're gonna walk it like you talk it. You're probably gonna have to start losing some weight, right? You're probably gonna have to start saving some money, right? Depending on what realm of the spectrum you fall on. Because if you broke and you want to get married and you a man, the problem is you don't got no motion. And I'm not even going to say nothing on the other side. Just like I said, walk it like you talk it, right? And then where you got Neptune, Neptune is being sextile by both planets. Neptune is this energy for Neptune is very much conspicuous where it comes to spiritual gifts and spiritual talent because the thing about spiritual gifts and spiritual talent is the area of your life where you are the most laziest, where you are the most uncultured and uncivilized, right? This is your most primal self. So, where it comes to your talent, where it comes to what you actually need to do, this is where you need to put the most work in. Like, this is where you need to really make some concessions and make some really real changes. And, if it's hard for you, like when I'm talking to some people are just motivated, right? And then some people, on the other hand, are not motivated at all, right? And there's nothing that you can say, nothing that you can do. And even if they do it for 1 or 2 days, people 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, they more or less stuck in their ways. And when you talk about Neptune and Pisces, that is kind of like the biggest thing you want to stand against. You should be so open-minded to the revelation of who you truly are and the work that you're willing to put in, that then when you see it, you should be able to love the future, love the work, love the effort, because we're dealing with sextiles. Sextile is reference to effort. Okay? Effort is like I have an analogy, right? A conjunction is when you're at home and you have your favorite beverage. A sextile is when, if you say, if I walk to the store, buy it, and I got the money to buy it, then I'll have the beverage. A trine is when you got the beverage, it's in your refrigerator, and it's all dependent on if you know it or not, right? It depends or not if you're going to be investigative or not. Now, normally or naturally, we get up, we check the refrigerator, bet I have my favorite beverage, it's right there. So a trine and a conjunction are very similar. And then one would say a sextile is similar to a trine. The only difference is you got to leave the house and get it. So bring this back to the analogy for people who are having a tough time with trying to figure out their purpose, which I feel like we all should be having a tough time trying to figure out our purpose. I have a tough time trying to figure out my purpose. The purpose is not something that you ever figure out because the purpose is very fluid. When you think about Pisces, it's a water sign. It's almost like a mirage. But with all this being said, the real key to the energy is getting into the spirit of doing what you love, becoming who you love, and not giving up the faith and the hope to become the best version of yourself from a deep awakening of your spirit, of your soul. And a lot of times people don't know that a spiritual awakening is taking place. They just get immersed in it. Like a spiritual awakening for a lot of conscious people was when Brother Panic, Miss Blue, and Bobby Hemmett was on Blog Talk Radio. Right? This was before YouTube, right? We didn't get, there was some stuff on YouTube, but you had to get conscious information from VHS tapes and cassette tapes and DVDs, right? And if you didn't have access to it, the information just wasn't happening. And so for a lot of us, a lot of black people, we didn't have access to information that was going to raise our consciousness until Bobby Hemmett and Brother Panic began to open the floodgates with not only the information, but the books that we could begin to read and begin to understand for ourselves. that represents a spiritual awakening that have taken place, that when you search Bobby Hemmett, you won't find the same videos that we used to watch. When you search Brother Panic, they took Brother Panic's page down. What that represents is that we're gearing up for a whole new level of spiritual awakening. And my humble opinion is that the seeds are within all of us to begin to cultivate these things right now. And so, really quick, let's just go and deal with each sign and each planet so we could get an understanding of the quality of the planets. Neptune in Pisces is the planet of spiritual development and the sign of healing. So when we talk about development, we're talking about nothing to something. The hardest part with this energy is that people have egos, spiritual egos, master teachers, gurus, and they don't understand and overstand energy. Everything operates on a cycle. So if you can begin to start to see everything as a beginning phase of your overall development, a beginning phase of your overall development, and then ultimately the need for healing, healing that connection between mind and God, which we all need to heal. And that's the work that we need to do. The work is conscious. This is consciousness. What we're talking about is consciousness. We're talking about the science of the mind. And the mind is the same thing that you could use to connect to God, or it could be the same thing to say that you're depressed, sad, ADHD, LGBT, bipolar, up, down, left, and right. It's the same exact mind. However, if you begin to heal that connection between mind and God, you realize that you are genderless, sexless, raceless, ageless. You are limitless, but you actually have to do that work. And this is why in the description, we have a link to the article, but we also have a link to download the worksheet so you can begin to take notes, so you could begin to develop spiritually. Because the way that you begin to see your mind is you start to write. And you can write formatedly in a way where you can start to think about things in a different level and begin to reflect on yourself at a different level. And this is the gnosis, the true knowledge of the soul, which is coming online. Give me a second. Oh, that is it. So secondly, we want to talk about Uranus and Taurus, the planet of spiritual awakening and the sign of possession. Uranus, it operates on an 84-year cycle. This represents our whole entire basic lifespan. So when you think about Uranus, it's going to awaken you to who you truly are and your true path in life. And this would represent what a lot of people go through when they turn 40 or 35 or whatever age it is for different people, a midlife crisis, which is usually Uranus trying to inform the individual that you need to do this, right? And you need to redirect your life in this proper manner. So when you talk about awakening, you're also in the energy of Taurus, and this is the energy of possession. So this is very key for conscious people. Conscious people are what historically we are the group of people that are called the Atlanteans. And when you reference the Atlanteans, we are the sole possessors of the planet, right? This planet is ours. We have dominion. And I'll give you an example. Just put ones in the chat if you ever went somewhere and you feel like people treat you differently, or people treat you strange, or people look at you weird. One's in the chat if you just feel that um, you feel different from people in general. Well, if that's the case, that's because you are a true Atlantean. And more than not, it will also seem like life is kicking your ass. And life is probably kicking your ass because you don't know who you are. In the Kabbalion, it is stated this: the all is mind, the universe is mental. We are not taught that in kindergarten. We are not taught that in grade school. We're not taught that in high school. More or less, we think the more money you get, the better your life. The better you look, the better your life. And these are false cultural ideas that don't bear witness to the truth. Your mind, if you're able to clear it enough, if you're able to meditate enough, if you're able to exit your ego's thoughts enough, you could begin to use your mind as an instrument for doing God's work. And God will help you. God will bless you. God will carry you. And this is just something that I lived through. So I'm not going to get in here and just be like, the thing that helps me is because I'm so good looking, or because I'm so smart, or because I know something that you don't know, or I'm clicked up with these weird ass conscious niggas. One's in the chat. I'm a normal human being. I came up out the pussy and nobody told me shit. Once I began to meditate and clear my mind, I went into different dimensions within myself. And then I was alerted to my soul. I seen my soul. And my soul told me specifically, don't forget who you are. And once I remembered who I was and who I am, I began to put myself out there. I began to speak. I began to see myself, and my life began to change. And I never became an awesome, great nigga all of a sudden. I always remained me. But I also seen my life change for the better. I also seen me have a level of inner peace in a mind that was just so tormented. I was telling somebody just recently how I would, and it was a large part in my 20s, probably like from 26 to 28, that I would just take NyQuil just so I could just sleep. Probably slept for a whole year because the mind was so tormented, and I didn't know that I had to find it through my mind. I had to find God through my mind. The mind is all. And because you don't understand and overstand that, and people do understand and overstand, they know this planet is yours. They be looking at you to double check and see and make sure that you still deaf, dumb, and blind. Oh, he still don't know who he is. Good, good, good. I can go back to living my life. Right? Once you begin to understand who you are, you put people on notice, and this is what's going to take place. Don't look at your life and say, man, I'm gonna just be living in this apartment complex forever. Think about the compound that you about to be living in. You can't really think small with this energy. The purpose of this video that I want you to look back 5 years from now and your life completely have transformed and changed. I want you to think about this was the day that you began to look at yourself differently from a spiritual perspective, from a mental level, and said, the mind is all. And if I'm thinking incorrectly, then my external is going to be incorrect. So, do we work hard to change our external life? No. We work hard to change our internal atmosphere. And when I began to not, I would listen. I've always listened to music my whole life, R&B, hip hop, alternative rock, all you name it. But then I started to listen to John Coltrane, and my whole life changed. Then I started listening to Prince, and my life changed. Right? So all I'm saying is change the way you listen to music, change the TV that you watch, change the way that you are using your mind. Because 10 times out of 10, you're using your mind all wrong if you saying woe is me stories about your life and about yourself. Okay? Finally, last but not least, definitely not least, we got the big dog, Pluto and Capricorn. The planet of transformation and the sign of achievement. Now, if it's some regular shit that you have for yourself, just a regular life, getting by to get by, this energy is not necessarily for you. This 5 years is not for you. It's going to be nothing to you. But this is for my dreamers. This is for my believers. This is for the people who really have faith in themselves to be the best version of themselves, and they don't want to live a regular life, and they ain't afraid to fail. You got to really think about the risk that you take, because when you think about Capricorn, that's a mountain. So the very nature of climbing a mountain, the wrong step and you falling, plummeting down to the bottom, right? But people still climb mountains with that reality. So you have to ask yourself, am I the type of person that wants to climb the mountain, or I'm the person that just want to stay at the bottom? And there's no shade for which decision that you chose, but you need to understand and overstand the energy. Yeah, you put out a couple of videos, they ain't do the views that you wanted to do, so you stop doing the videos altogether. That's like you did two flights of stairs and said, you know what, this ain't for me. I don't think it's an actual top to the staircase. When you think about it, you got to be so long term with it. You got to be able to think about this energy in a way where you're going to utilize people, meaning that you're going to learn from people, you're going to challenge yourself, you're probably going to have to pay people, work for people. Like, you're going to have to do what it takes because you understand what you want out of the situation and you're willing to put in that work. And that's Pluto and Capricorn. We talked about Pluto energy a couple of weeks ago, but it's the differentiation between an acorn and an oak tree. An acorn is just your average, everyday city girl, city boy, having a pool party, wearing some nice clothes, just enjoying life, trying to find a girl, trying to make some money, do this, do that, whatever. That's just regular life. That's an acorn. When you talk about an oak tree, you're talking about an awakening to who you truly are, your true purpose, and true satisfaction. I do this thing by a law of averages. If God didn't want me to do this stuff, he ain't even never have to send me nobody to get no reading. He never could have seen, I could have never read nobody's chart, ever. Right? There's so many things that could happen in life that when you get to a certain level, you just start letting things happen because you know you are not in control. God is in control. And that's what we talk about when we're talking about transpersonal planets, right? Experiencing a minor grand trine. It's a it's an opportunity to be the best version of yourself in a way that's not. See, the best version of yourself you might think is at a personal level. I got a job, I got a relationship, I got kids, I got a white picket fence. There's nothing more that I want for life. But then it's like, who are you helping? The social planets. Because if you're a millennial or a Gen Z, I don't know what happened with the Gen X's and baby boomers, but if you a part of my age group or younger, you're gonna want to help people because if you ever been anything in life, somebody had to come out the blue and help you. When somebody have helped you at a deep level, the normal response to that is that you help other people, and that's Jupiter. But you can't help everybody, so you got to learn how to take care of yourself. That's Saturn. And there's always an interplay and a flux between Jupiter and Saturn and how you relate to the external world. And once you get that figured out, then you come to the transpersonal side of things, where you go above and beyond who you even thought you could be, and you tap into who you are as a guru, as a psychic, as a healer. And these are aspects that most of us are not in tune with. But I'm to the point of my life and my journey that the people who tune into my channel, that are able to understand and overstand the words that I'm saying and can just hear me. Sometimes it's two types of people. People swear I just be speaking in a whole different language, and then there's other people where I'm just speaking regular English, and what I'm saying is making sense. If what I'm saying is making sense to you, then you have a spiritual calling. Because I swear to God, I was just a regular person going to school, trying to have sex with the girls, and just live a normal life. But I had way much more in store for me. And that's because I goddamn had Pluto in my first house, Uranus in my second house, goddamn Neptune in my third. So all of this energy, it just wasn't no choice for me but to do this spiritual work. But for those who are on the fence about it, this is the time. Over the next 5 years, begin to do the spiritual work. And like I said, on this channel, I'm giving out worksheets so you can journal. If you watch my channel, make sure you did your worksheets before you be like, Hood, I need your help. Hood, I'm really fucked up out here, man. I just came, it's just real hard for me and I just can't figure it out because. And I'm like, well, I done gave out worksheets in all of my articles. Did you do the journaling work? No, because I've been too busy. Well, let's start there. Because the days is like, I love everybody. I love everybody, but I can't do no work for nobody. Everybody have to do the work for themselves. I don't know what you did last summer. It was probably something wild, right? But with that being said, um, I hope that you are going to be with me through this journey over this next 5 years. Because I will reference this video, I will reference this topic, and the reason why I will reference this topic is because this will be a major placement in the sky. So, like I said, I wanted to do a quick video, and if you know, you know, an hour for me is rather quick in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, like I said, I'll be referencing this energy a lot. For me, it's a new beginning for my content, my disposition, how I see life, how I'm gonna be relating to people, even how I do work. The reason that I'm putting the worksheets out for the family is because that's what I'm actually doing to evolve and develop spiritually in these days and times. It's nothing better than journaling, getting some understanding and overstanding of what's going on in your mental, because gone are the days where we spend every waking minute and day ruminating, which is a sign of depression. I learned that today. Um, no longer are we ruminating, but we're strictly elevating. And you can trust me to be as consistent as I can be with the content, with the information. And of course, just know that I'm doing my due diligence to just study the charts, study the stars, and just keep y'all hip on what's happening, because I know people have not studied astrology for as long as I have, or have a passion for it. But hopefully, I'm good at translating my personal passion of astrology with giving you some vital knowledge to help you strengthen your spiritual development and spiritual journey, because you're actually going to have to do the work yourself. And if somebody is telling you anything differently, they motherfucking lying to you, man. And get your money back as soon as possible. When it comes to spiritual development, you do not have to spend thousands of dollars to get gnosis. Okay? You don't have to spend anything. The reason that I say that is very simply, the mind is all, and all is the mind. Okay? I'm the Hood Mystic, representing hoodmystic.com. Be sure to tune in and tap into everything that I have to offer. Maybe something will fit you, work for you. Maybe you have questions, comments, or concerns. Be sure to email me or just simply DM me on IG's Instagram direct messaging contraption thingamajig they got going on over there. But with all that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Hope you got something out of it. Hope you're excited for these next 5 years of doing this spiritual work with me as we begin to develop into our true selves, who are truly meant to be, and live the life of our dreams. No pun intended. But with that being said, man, I'm going to sign out. Enjoy the rest of your night and check you out on the next video. Peace.
Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer.